Hi, it's Chris Watkin here, and I'm joined by Mark Burgess, who is boss man of Iceberg. And today, Mark, I'd like to talk about how the new Apple update on iOS 14 is going to affect estate agents' Facebook advertising. Talk to me.
Okay, so the update is really probably best summed up for most people if they look at it the same way as how they already understand how GDPR works. They're not identical in the way that they work, but it's a pretty good place to start, and most people now understand GDPR, and they understand the idea that the purpose of GDPR was to stop you from obtaining a database from some random source and then spamming them with email, because GDPR said you haven't really got any legitimate interest to do that, and this person never signed up. So the way that Facebook advertising works at the moment, it's very clever the way that Facebook did it. They said, put this Facebook pixel on your website and you'll be able to retarget people with adverts, because we'll know that they've been to your website. And because of that, Facebook has a pixel in most of the websites around the world. So therefore, when you go into Facebook to set up an advert, you can say, I'd like to run adverts to people that are interested in buying a new car. And Facebook can go, oh, all these people have been visiting car websites.
Because the car people told them to put the Facebook. Yep.
Yeah?
Okay.
Yeah. So they've got all of this data. But what Apple was saying is that, well, I'm not sure that that's really right, because when I went to the car website, yeah, I know you popped up the thing about cookies and all of that sort of stuff, but I wasn't really expecting someone to be able to know that I was doing that. So Apple made an update whereby when you visit a site that has a third-party cookie, a cookie from someone other than that car company,
Most probably
Facebook or somebody like that, the system will say, are you okay with that? And you could say, no, I'm not okay with that. And you can continue browsing the site, and iPhone will just block that. Big problem for Facebook, big problem for Google, big problem for most ad agencies who just use those kind of targeting to reach people. The solution is the same as GDPR, build your own database.
So just before we come back and building your own database, so basically if nothing changes, people won't be able to target people who've probably been on Rightmove looking at their mortgage calculator, which is a very famous way to estate agents to target people who are looking.
If they were on an iPhone with the latest update.
Yeah, but most people do have iPhones, don't they?
Most people do, yeah. So yeah, that's right.
So surely that means that people won't be able to target local homeowners as well as time goes by.
Using that method.
Yes.
Yeah, unless something was to change, that's right.
So what is the solution? You said build your own database.
Yeah, the solution is instead of relying on Facebook to say, find me people looking for this, you have to build your own database of people that are looking for that.
But it shocks me how many estate agents are sitting on an absolutely massive database themselves, but the negs basically put it into archive because the person never rang back in 2 nanoseconds.
Well, they do that because their CRM systems are based only around doing transactions with people. There are no tools in there whatsoever for prospecting.
What, building relationships and estate agents? God forbid.
But there's what I mean is that, if I register with an estate agent or even send an inquiry and the person, and I fail to answer the phone a few times,
I'll get archived.
For the estate agent, their target is on booking, viewing, selling houses. You're of no use to me. For the business owner, of course, there's a massive use to it, but his software and his staff aren't targeting around that.
And it amazes me that half of the people that have sold this year have only been in the house on average 6 years and 18 weeks.
Yeah.
Don't boys and girls in estate agency land. Yes, the average move time is 18 years. That's because there's people that have been in their house 30 years. If you actually look, half of your sales move within 6 years. So you're sitting on huge data that they're not using, are they?
I think a lot of business owners in a estate agency probably understand that and maybe even would agree with you. Where it breaks down is that they then target their staff on today and only today.
Yes.
So from a staff's point of view, we experience it quite often with Lifecycle. If a company takes Lifecycle, the business owner can be into it 100%, unless he brings that through the company somehow, that he's thinking of the long term in every way, in their targets, in their appraisals and everything,
Commission even.
why would they care that you're building the future? Like, if I don't book this viewing right now, I'm in danger of getting sacked tomorrow. So I just want the simplest way of doing that. I don't really care that you're trying to build data for the future.
So how do owners of business instill that long-term attitude to them, to their staff?
I think it's just a question of explaining to people why and what the long-term vision is, and you have to take your staff out of the fight or flight mode. You know, if you're saying to people like, I need you to book this many viewings and this many valuations, and if you don't, you know what's going to happen. Nothing else matters to them.
So basically, they're going hand to mouth, and it's very short-termism, transactional estate agency.
There's no creativity there. If I know that if I don't hit those targets, I'm going to get fired.
So are you saying, again, and this is not a promo for Lifecycle, which is a business generation tool, is that agents that think the long term, that play the long term, use their data, because we are a data-driven business, although we never use it, they're the ones that will win, and issues like ISO 14 won't be an issue in the future?
Well, they can't lose, but it's not. You can't just take your frontline salespeople that are supposed to book viewings and valuations and say, you think about the long term as well. It's a different job. You need a different person to be looking at what are we generating long term. As an owner of the business, I want people reporting on me what we're making today, and I want people reporting on how's our marketing doing for the long term. It's not the same job.
Thank you for your time today.
No problem.